Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I do have a frog in my throat today. Today we're going to be doing another look with the Lime Crime 10th anniversary palette. I don't remember if it's called 10th anniversary palette or 10th birthday palette, but it's like a birthday kind of themed palette. So in my first one I used the pinks. What did I use? I think I used the pinks and green. I use the pinks and greens. So today I'm going to use the purples and blues, and we're just going to see what they look like. This may end up being a 2 looks 1 palette because I really want to see if these shades here are any good quality, because they swatch very poorly, but we'll just kind of see. I think I want to do, I'm almost wondering, let me just swatch these. I'm kind of wondering if they're shadow toppers. So that's what they look like. So they're just very, I guess they could be used as inner corner highlights as well. I love a good inner corner highlight. So we're just going to kind of play with this and see about the quality of it. I don't have any kind of full review on it. I will have a review in an upcoming either Shop My Stash or updated products that I've been trying out. But today we're just going to be playing with the shadows and check out the quality of them. So welcome back to my channel. Did I say that? I don't remember. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. Speaking of anniversaries, this is my 1-year anniversary month on YouTube. So I do have a big giveaway going on with 2 winners, and I will link the video right up here if you want to check that out. I do hope that you will get entered. So let's go ahead and dig into some of these shadows. I do have my eyelids primed with my Ulta Matte Nude Matte Eye Primer. I think I want to do a colorful wing today as well with one of these shadows. Maybe with the purple shadow. I think I'm going to use the purple for the transition area and then the purple for the colorful wing as well, and we're just gonna kind of see what happens here. That's pretty. Let me scoot you guys in. I just put it on kind of a light wash. I don't want to build it up too much because I also want to do it as the liner, so I want this to be a lighter crease color or transition color. So I'm just gonna kind of keep it at that depth. So you can see that it's buildable because this one is already darker than this one. So then I'm going to go in with the navy shade. What's this one called? That one was Libra. And this one here is Wrapped. And I'm going to take that on a pinched blending brush. Oh my gosh. I lost my Wet n Wild P15. That's the one I use all the time for my crease. And I finally found it last night. Well, I mean, you could see it. I don't know that I feel like it's a ton of pigment. And I'm just saying that this is called a pressed pigment palette. So by definition, these should be more pigmented. For example, the Subculture is a pressed pigment palette and super pigmented. Actually, the pigment of that one is what got people so hung up on it at first. Okay, I actually think I'm going to make this a super simple look. So I am going to put that shade, what is this brush? Luxie Eye Shading Brush. I'm going to put that blue shade all over the lid. Okay, so that actually looks way better patted in there. That has way more pigment than when I was putting it in the crease. And then I'm going to use those shimmerier shades, Blue Sky and Tunicorn, to see what they look like as shadow toppers. And then we're going to put that purple on as an eyeliner, and I think that's going to be it. So this is definitely going to have another look with it, I think. So I am going to take just a little detailer brush. It's really probably a concealer brush. It's the Morphe 421. And I think I'm going to take the purple shade on the inner part and then the blue in the middle part. So we'll just see what happens with this. I definitely think this needs to be sprayed. So I'm going to say that is definitely a shadow topper. I don't think that could be much otherwise. So now the issue is with this is you've got some shadow toppers, but then you don't really have many mattes to put them on top of. So this would definitely have to be a palette that you would combine with other palettes. I mean, I think so. Long term. You could create a couple looks with just this palette, but if you want to get full advantage of the shades, then I think you would need to... That one's got a little more opaqueness than the purpley one had. So I'm just going to put a little bit more of the blue on the outer V. Kind of blend that together. And then I think I'm going to pop a little bit more of that purple shade up here too. Just using a very tiny brush. This is the M562 from Morphe. Now we're going to take a little bitty liner brush, if I can find one. This is, I think this is a Tarte one, and I'm going to use my ColourPop No Filter Concealer to create the line for this, and then I'm going to put the purple shadow on top of it. I'm just going to do a little at a time, so I'm going to put this down first. Okay, so I've got that on. It was a little less pigmented than I would have liked. Definitely if you're going to do that, use a concealer though, so you cancel out whatever's under it. And you get a little more pop with it. I'm just going to clean up these edges with a makeup wipe. I do like the way it looks. Something had a lot of fallout. I think it was all of the colors. I think all the colors had some fallout to it. I'm going to put on Tunicorn in the inner corner. It's the purple one that we used for the first half, to top the first half here. So this is pretty. Very pretty inner corner highlight. I'm going to go ahead and put on this ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in Piggy Bank. This is a purple color, so I thought that'd look really good with that purple as the liner. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and put on, I picked out some lashes that would be, I want a thinner band on here because obviously I'm not going to be covering them up with black liner. So I think I'm going to try to use these 120s from Ardell right here. They have a really thin band on it, so I think that those will look nice. So I'm going to go ahead, oh, you know what, I need to put on some mascara first. Let me put on some mascara, show you how that looks, and then I'll pop the lashes on. So here is the look with mascara. I put on the Grand Mascara. I got this in a BoxyCharm, and it was actually just in my yearly favorites video because, do you see this? How good do those look? And this is like, it is so hard to find a mascara where when you put it on, a little bit doesn't get up here. There is none up there. Oh, I love this mascara so much. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put those lashes on and then show you the final look. So there is the final look for this Lime Crime palette with the blues and purples. I do really enjoy how it ended up. On my lips, I put on this collab lip liner in Burnt Up. This brand you get at Sally Beauty's. And is that how it was? Sally Beauty? Sally Beauty's. Sally Beauty? Sally's Beauty? And then I put the Smashbox Lip Enhancing Gloss on top of it. So that is what I'm wearing on my lips today, and I really like how it turned out with these lashes. They were hard to put on. That thinner band is always a little more difficult to put on, but I think it looks really good, and it doesn't interfere with my liner at all. What do you guys think of this look? I think I am going to put in one more look here, and then just kind of like a final review of what I thought about it. So the next look will actually be filmed a little bit after I have filmed this one, so I have a little more time to play with these shadows and see what I think of them. So let's move on to look number 2. So I've already done a purple blue look. I did a pinky orange green look, and I've played with blue sky on its own. So I think for this look I want to do candles because I only use that as an inner corner highlight. So I want to use that on the lid. I want to use Tunicorn. And then I think maybe we'll do like maybe like this section right here. So the orange, yellow, blue, purple, this area right here, I think is what I'm going to use today to get a better grasp on those shades. So I'm going to start with 10 in the transition area. This shade I think is actually a really good shade. Let me zoom you guys in. So I do think that 10 is a really good orange. And I like this shade. And I'm just putting this into the transition area with a big fluffy brush. This is my Morphe 441. And then I'm going to use this wrapped on the outer V and for the first part of the crease here. Now something I have noticed about this palette is I feel like a lot of it has a lot of fallout. Now this shade you can get pigment from, but you really have to build it up. So we're at 3 passes right now. That being said about building it up, this shade right here is very pretty. This would be a really pretty lid shade. Maybe not the best outer V shade, but this is the deepest shade in the palette, so that's what I'm using for the outer V for this one. And just to show you how much it needs to be built up to get that color. But it is a really pretty color. There's a little fallout from that one. Then I'm going to go in with Libra, which is this shade right here, and that is going to go in the crease. And I'm actually going to take a pencil brush to pop that in the crease shade. I'm not going to put it right here in the crease. I'm just going to put it on this section that we don't have anything yet. So you could see that one. I mean, I think it has enough pigment that it's covering up the orange. I think that this shade is showing up really good there. And then where these guys meet, I'm just going to blend a little bit. But to get that pigment, I used a natural hair pencil brush, because that's just going to pick more of the color up. This is the M431. So you can see the fallout is already falling over into this blue shade. So I'm going to go back in and just touch that up a little bit. Like, these really do have a ton of fallout to them. And you can see it's getting on my face right here, which I hate. So the yellow shade is kind of like a satiny shimmer shade in this palette. It's definitely different from the blue and purple shades. It's more like cloud and rose burst. So they do have some good color to them. So let's just see. I'm going to take a concealer brush and I'm going to spray it to see how that goes on. This is a really crumbly shade too. Like, you can see it just kind of like packs right on that brush. Hopefully it doesn't have a ton of fallout to it. And that's just going to go right here. So just really packing it on. So it looks like using the fixing spray with that did a really good job. There's not a ton of fallout with that one. I've got a little blue fallout there. And then I'm going to go in with it on my finger and just kind of blend right where the blue and yellow meet. I do have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of transfer with this one. Now for tuna corn. So tuna corn is this one right here. I feel like these two are more of shadow toppers, but I also want to see what I can get from them on their own. So I've used this one on its own already in a separate look that I did, and you can use this one on its own, but it does require a ton of packing on that shadow using a fixing spray, and there's a ton of fallout from it. So now I'm going to use tuna corn. I'm going to use it 2 different ways. I'm going to use it on one eye with a finger and an eye with a concealer brush using a fixing spray. But this time I also want to put some glitter glue down first just to see if that helps prevent some of that fallout. So I just have my NYX glitter glue, and that's what I'm going to pop down on the inner corner of this. On this eye, I'm going to go in just with my finger in Tuna Corn. I almost feel a little bit like these shades are getting hard pan already, and I've used this palette 5 times. This one is not looking so good. Oh, that actually does look kind of good. So I really dug out a chunk with my finger to use. And I'm just kind of like, that's just going to go on the whole inner corner there. It just is what it is. There actually isn't a ton of fallout with using that glitter glue. It looks like glitter glue is probably definitely going to be the way to go with these shades. I'm going to have to look up and see what Lime Crime calls these kinds of shades. Right, so for this eye, I'm going to use the brush with fixing spray. I've got that on. That worked really well as well, so I would definitely use the brush way just because I can get it more precise that way. I'm going to go in back in with Libra. I just want to blend where that crease is at in these shades because it looks kind of choppy. And then I'm going to go in, I want a littler fluffy brush here. This is my Morphe 507 with that orange shade, and just blend where these guys meet in that transition area. You have a little bit, it looks like from the yellow and a little bit from the pink. Now the problem with this fallout is it sticks to your face. So every time I've used this palette so far, I have had to wipe under here and redo my makeup under there, and then sometimes I still can't get all of the glitter out. So it really does stick to your face. Definitely I would recommend using a glitter glue if you end up picking this palette up. I think for the under eye, I'm going to go in with Wrapped, which is the navy blue shade, and stamp that along the lower lash line. Since I've got so much color on the upper lid, on the lower lash line, I want to kind of ground it. So I'm going to use Royal Blue for my waterline. This is from LA Girl, and that's just going to kind of give some grounding to this very colorful look. You know what I kind of want to do for liner today? I'm going to try something new, so hopefully this doesn't come out botched. I'm just going to put this right up to the lashes and smudge it out a little bit. Although with these shades it might be hard to do because I'm just bringing that blue all the way around so it encircles my whole eye. Yeah, I like that. I thought it might be difficult because these shades, when I use a liquid eyeliner, the colors definitely pick up on the brush and I have to wipe the brush off, and it just takes a little longer with that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this eye with the blue liner, curl my lashes, and pop on some mascara, and be back to show you the look. Back with the look. I did not put on falsies today. I just put on some mascara, and then for my lip today, definitely wanted to go more neutral. So I put on the NYX Suede Lip Liner in Free Spirit and Cookie from ColourPop. This is definitely not my favorite look I've ever made, but I did want to get all of those shades in use for this video. So I just want to kind of go over my thoughts on this Lime Crime palette. I'm just going to start by saying that if I really don't like a palette, I will return it. I am not returning this one, I am keeping it. But I also would not pay $44 for this palette. So $44 is what it costs retail value. I got it on a day when it was half price, and I also had 20% off. So I got it for like $17. I think it's worth $17. I also used my bonus points from Ulta to get it, so it was actually free, or my rewards points. Overall, this is definitely a palette that you're going to want to pair with other palettes. I don't think there's a ton of looks that you could create just using this palette. Now how many did I create with just this palette? 3, I think. 3 and this one. The other 3, I loved those looks. I think that the pinks, let's see, I did the pinks and greens, I did the blues and purples, and then did I do a pink pink and blue look, I think. And I really like those looks. Definitely I would wear those out and about. I mean, obviously I'll wear this out and about too, but it's just not my favorite look I've created. Now, going online to see what the formulas actually are called, I think it's kind of interesting because it has cloud and tunicorn as iridescent shimmers. And I would actually say, and this one does have some iridescence to it. These are similar formulas, but I would actually say Blue Sky and Tunicorn are closer in formula, and that this one and Candles are close in formula. So Candles, I'm looking at the notes online, which is why I'm looking down, is just a shimmer. And then they said Rose Burst is a shimmer and that Blue Sky is a shimmer. These two here performed really nicely. Blue Sky has a ton of fallout. So if you do have this or get it, I would definitely recommend using a glitter glue to put down first. That worked really well for Tunicorn for today for me, and that one also had a ton of fallout when I used it in the past. Over the past 2 weeks while I've been using these, I've tried to do different techniques with them so I could see if you could get them to work, what ways work best with them, things like that. So then we've got the Matte Sparkle formula. So that is RSVP, Lime Crime, and Frosting are the matte sparkles. I like all of those. I think they all work well. I think they work really good for a lid shade. You could see there that it's a matte shade with some shimmer, very, very fine glitter in it. I didn't have too much fallout when I used those. I used all of those together in the very first look that I did in the first video, which I had linked up in the iCards. The Glow shade is the other shade. So it's got Wrapped, Libra, 10, and Grass as a glow shade. So I would also compare that to a satin shade, I think, because it does have some matteness to it, but also some satin to it. That's the navy blue that we used today, and I would agree with that. I think that those shades do have a really good pigment to them. They can be built up, and those are probably my favorite shades out of this palette in terms of the quality of formula. So if we're talking about if you should purchase it or not, I would not spend $44 on this palette. I think it's a really pretty, really fun palette, but I don't think that it's worth $44. Now, it is still $44 on the Ulta website. If it were to go on sale and go into like their sale section for half price and you like it, that may be a time to pick it up. If you like it because of the rainbow style of it and want to be able to use it on its own, I'm not sure that I would say this is the palette for that. I would recommend several other palettes to you first before you bought this for your rainbow palette. For example, this is the Certified Dynasty palette. That's a really good rainbow palette with some different tones in it. The Take Me Back to Brazil palette is a really good one, and both of these are cheaper than this Lime Crime one. Honestly, I could do with or without the palette. I will get use out of it. I don't think that it's a horrible palette. I just think that it is targeted to a very specific audience, and maybe that is a Lime Crime fan and someone who's been a fan since this was their aesthetic 10 years ago. So I hope that helps if you are kind of thinking whether you should purchase it or not. Let me know what you think of the looks and what you're kind of thinking about this palette. I mean, it's really cute, and for $17, I think that's an okay price for it. Thank you so much for joining me for this Lime Crime birthday palette review video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Don't forget to enter the giveaway before you leave. Have an amazing day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!